Our second question for office hours is around basics, like grant writing basics, and how it is that we can feel more comfortable with the full grant life cycle. Wait, you might say, Diane, what is the full grant life cycle? That's not something I've heard of. So, grant life cycle is rather new language within the, I'd say, the grant field, and some of the terminology we're using. Maybe it's been around for 4 or 5 years. Pre-COVID-19 pandemic, that's what I'll put on it. And I'm sure it was used maybe even a little bit before then, but it really seems to have taken hold in those years. And the idea is that the best practices that make for great grants are never like a one and done, they're ongoing. So the idea that it's a life cycle indicates that it's ongoing. There's a circular pattern to it. There's constant movement, constant change. And so a grant life cycle contains 5 elements: grant readiness, grant research, grant relationships, then grant writing, and then because we do those first 4 so well, then we get to move on to reporting or grant management. Now, if you were looking at that on a screen, you would see that there are R's. So another way it was talked about was like the 5 R's of grant seeking. Linda Butler, many years ago, had started it by talking about the 3 R's, so talking about research, relationships, and writing. But over the years, as the field has expanded and strengthened and grown, it's gone into 5 R's, so readiness, research, relationships, writing, and reporting. And those 5 R's, whether it helps you to think about it that way or the life cycle idea, those are really the best practices that folks are looking at. And that's what they're referring to if they talk about a grant life cycle. That's different. You might hear people talk about like a grant management cycle, how it is that you maintain good grantee status, how it is that you can maintain your eligibility, how you can get your renewals. So slightly different if we start to talk about management of grants and the cycles they might discuss. But for the pre-award, for the grant seeking, that's the life cycle being discussed. And so all 5 of those are really important for organizations to understand, to not set one down and forget about it for a while they focus on another. But really, all 5 should be on your radar screen at all times because different grants are in different phases of that life cycle at any given time. So, yeah, grant life cycle, ongoing, never ending. 5 best practice elements. Be sure to reach out with extra questions if any one in particular is where you want to spend more time and effort.